Namaste, my brothers and sisters, and welcome to Namaste Today in the Zodiac Weather. My name is Stepsº Witecki. I am the sensei to Sirius joy, and I'm here to help you stand in your heart and walk in the light. This is a very special day. First of all, happy Halloween to everyone who celebrates that around the world. This ancient pagan tradition that has made it for centuries and evolved, which is very cool. I love that it evolves and changes. That's a cool thing that we keep it alive. It's also Friday. It's finally Friday. Friday, October 31st, 2014. And this edition will also give you a prediction for the weekend. So this is a Friday and weekend show. I'm going to start doing it this way from this point forward. I've decided to shoot 5 days a week and include your weekend information on Friday. This is a way for me to kind of cut a little bit of the excess off and help myself breathe a little bit. Now, today is ruled by Step 8. Step 8 is I decide. And this early decision, the first decision of the transit of the sun in Scorpio, this is a cutting away decision. We always cut away what's not working for us in the first chapter of any transit, right, when we get to Step 8. Step 8 is an important step. We're ready to make the step. This step today, I think, will be more profound than most Step 8s, just due to the alignment of Saturn in Scorpio and Uranus in Aries and Jupiter in Leo, and more than planet soup. And in Sensei Sunrise, we'll talk about what Step 8 consciousness is and what we're actually doing when we make a decision. We have a part of our soul, 1/12 of it, that does nothing but monitor decisions. But it makes sense. We're in this whole creation reality, right? So here we are creating this whole reality. We're creating this fantastic journey that's all about us. Of course, someone's got to keep a log of every decision made. And people who love those types of logs are known as Capricorns. They love their decisions. But sometimes we forget our decisions, and that's the thing. They just get deeper and deeper because we build on top and build on top and build on top of those decisions. And eventually, we may find ourselves in a strange place and we don't want to be there anymore. So where we are right now is at a place where the decisions we make here in the next 3 or 4 days will turn into one of those buildings. And so it's important for us to be conscious of this decision and how to make the best one. All that, of course, in this cute little episode. But before we dive into the depths of decision making, let's first tame our brain, shall we, with the phrase of the day. I decide to leave old ghosts behind. So appropriate for Halloween, but true. I decide to leave old ghosts behind. That's the first thing we have to decide, is turn our back on all the old ghosts, all the old things that haunt us. It's no longer necessary. The planets are all lining in a new, fresh vibration now. We can and should leave it behind. So you allow it to continue. We'll talk about that in the Sensei Sunrise. But first, we must decide with our brain that this is the policy inside us, the United States of awareness, right? I decide to leave old ghosts behind. And so it is because I said so. I thought so. Today's ruled by Step 8. Step 8 is quite magical. And through the weekend, Friday is Step 8, Saturday is Step 9, and Sunday will be Step 10. These are our Joy Quest intentions. So it's 8, 9, 10. We're kind of like wrapping it up here of the first chapter of the Sun in Scorpio, or the first chapter of emotional boundaries with self. That's really what this comes down to. Now tonight the moon is in Aquarius, so emotions are freaky and seek unusual or foreign influences. And I would say that whether it was Halloween or not, I stand by my astrological predictions. But the moon is seeking some freaky deaky. That's the combination of the moon and the sun in Scorpio as well. In fact, you want to see an interesting peep show, watch a Scorpio and Aquarius get together. I'm sure it's pretty freaky. Now, speaking of freaky fireworks, tonight at exactly 11:13 p.m. Eastern Time, I had to check the information 3 times. It really is at exactly 11:13 Eastern Time. The 13 is interesting. We will have things go a bit freaky. In fact, be careful, actually, between 11:13 and between 12:13 a.m., because in that time, there will be breakdowns or breakthroughs. Could be a good freaky time in a good way as well. Depends on where you're set up to do. Looking at the chakras. Thank you, my soul sister Kristen, singing that. Step 8, I decide, is actually the back of the third eye. So when we make a decision, Step 8, we are making an incision in our third eye vision. All right, that's what we're doing. We're literally pointing the third eye vision now to a new direction and looking away from a different direction. Of course, this is all an illusion in the hall of mirrors known as creation, but it's important that you know that when you make decisions, you change your vision. Now, step 0 actually emulates from the back of the throat and also the back of I manifest chakra. So what we're deciding is what to cut off on a bigger scale, on a large scale, forever, because it's Scorpio, and Scorpio is forever. So the decision is not just an incision, this is a decision that will last forever. And as of tomorrow, we light up. Okay, so as we approach, the truth is there is no absolute. So we go from, we gradate energy, and then we go to the next step. So energetically, we're in step 8, Friday night, into early Saturday morning. Boom, we go into step 9, I act. I'm telling you that the root chakra is going to light up like a Christmas tree on Saturn Day. So be advised if you're out there partying, having Halloween stuff. Saturday will actually be probably the more aggressive day because we're going to take action and move forward with the decisions that we make. So let's look at planet soup. What does God have cooking up there in the stars? Well, as of now, the sun is at 8 degrees Scorpio, and so we're going to be wrapping chapter 1 here over the week's end. 8, 9, 10 are the 3 steps. Whoops, sorry about that. And the cool thing is Venus has jumped ahead. She's at step 10 now. Okay, so she's starting to move faster than the sun, and what that means is that this decision that we make today, with Venus already at step 10, is already the beginning of a new reality. So it's kind of like we're deciding to step away from one thing, but we've already got our other foot waiting in the next thing. That's what it is, and you ought to be, and so it's a death creation moment. It also should be less difficult to step away from whatever we're having to step away from. And on top of all this, Neptune retrograde at 4 degrees is ready to make spiritual miracles happen no matter what decision you make. So it's really kind of interesting. This is like having the guards around a concert stadium after everyone is released and drunk. You know, Neptune is waiting by your decision to see, are you going to decide this or that? Doesn't matter, because if you make the decision to repeat your karma, Neptune is there to pull that off for you and create some miracles to pull it right in. And if you are in the decision making to get past your karma, Neptune is there to pull in spiritual miracles and introduce you to the next crowd. Basically, the whole cast and crew is waiting. And Mars is now at step 4, so that means we're going to start breaking the rules as of today. We start breaking the rules. Our ego will break the rules. Our ego does not want to be compliant to the rules. This is part of the re-evolution, but remember, it needs to be channeled correctly, so be conscious. People need to be careful. This is definitely an accident-prone situation. Speaking of darkness and accidents, Saturn. Now, Saturn is the ruler of step 8, all right? Those rings represent the rings of the 8, and right now step 8, Saturn is at step 23, which means that we are trying to get our minds around some new big idea. And so while we're cutting off something at the bottom, we're trying to open our minds to something at the top, and keep that in mind that they're two different forces. Yes, part of us needs to shut down, the part that we're getting rid of today. Yes, part of us needs to open up, the part that we need to move toward. And so this is complex yoga for the spiritually evolved, just letting you know, it is uncomfortable. And Mercury is direct, but crosses the North Node at step 19 Libra today. So this is an interesting place. I've been pointing out where the North Node has been. North Node has been step 19 for a while, which basically is God saying, create solid relationships with yourself and others. That's what it is. Step 19 is manifesting solid relationships with ourselves and others. If you're going to manifest a solid 19, that means you've already got a solid 10. So basically, something about today, our mind is creating new relationships and manifesting new relationships, and relationships are a big part of us drawing boundaries. Then Jupiter is at step 20 Leo, and that means we are holding space, that's the step 0 next to the 2, for love and passion. Love and passion is building in pressure, and will probably rip open here in a few days. I'll have it reporting on, I'm sure, on Monday. As soon as it gets to step 21, a new wave of passion will be coming into our lives, and the next lessons of our heart. So it's going to start to get really intense. Sun in Scorpio only helps, right? All right, so what I want to help you with step 8 before your holiday weekend is to understand the nature of great 8. Let's look at 8. There's our lovely 8. Now, the cool thing about 8 is 8 has to do with infinity, and it's interesting because, consciousness is. So our human ideas of what 8 is and what consciousness is. If your consciousness thinks that's what it is, it is. And consciousness has been building around this Western idea and this Western glyph and these types of things for a long time, as long as we can remember, right? So the 8 is very powerful in the sense that, if you've been watching with us for a while, you know that 0 is what Scorpio is. 0 is all about protection, and 0 is the first invisible step of manifesting reality. We have to create space for us to grow something in, all right? So step 8 represents a point when we are having to decide. It's a turning point. And the interesting thing is the intersection of the decision is built into the glyph. There's the intersection right there in the center. There's a fork in our road. And really, it's about 3 options. You can continue on the road you've been on. You can cross the road and go the other side. You can go this way. So it's a bigger fork than it may appear. But basically, usually what happens is that we get caught in these infinities in our life. We want things to happen for infinity. We want happiness for infinity. We want marriage for infinity. And so what we do, for instance, with marriage is the symbol of infinity. It's like when you make a compromise, it's like, let's go around my block. Okay, now let's go around your block. Okay, now let's go around my block. Okay, now let's go around your block. And it's not necessarily energy here and energy here. All right? And there's a whole bunch of theories about maybe how the energy should orbit and rotate, but I look at the planets as my symbol. Ain't no planets doing this. Okay? What happens is planets orbit around each other. So I think what happens is in the decision consciousness, when you are growing and becoming something greater, think of the soul garden motif. If you're going to grow a rose bush, if you're going to grow a tree, anything like this, at some point you have to cut the tree. And why do you cut the tree? Because you don't want it to focus on growing out this way and growing these limbs and growing these limbs. You want the tree to grow up higher, right? So in our sense, in human consciousness, it's the same thing. At some point, we have to cut away from some of our old consciousness so that we can grow the consciousness we care about right now. And remember, it doesn't matter. We're going to come back to this damn earth, or we're going to see each other again in the future. This is just a virtual reality of the flesh game called life. So never worry too much about what you cut. That's one of the big things. People stand at those 2 zeros. They stand at that edge, and they're afraid of going on their own journey. But the way consciousness is built is that even if you cut and separate into 2 zeros here, if the 8 becomes 2 zeros, right? Basically what happens is this. That is the cell dividing of life, and that's what I think represents the cell dividing of life. And I think that when you make this decision to cut away old things, namely your ghosts, cut away old deep patterns, and I'll talk about in the Zodiac weather exactly what I think you're going to cut away today and over the weekend. The part of you that you cut away basically lives on its own, right? Now, you can look at this in so many ways, but you basically let it live on its own. And someone pointed out to me, oh yeah, but you don't want to ignore it if it's a part of you. That's true, actually. But what you're saying to it is like, you're now a ghost. You're now sinking to the bottom. Like, I acknowledge you and what you've lived, but I'm cutting this part of me away now. We can open that up later, right? But basically it's recycled in the consciousness. I'm going to focus on this part of the 0 here. Now, if you've been watching long enough Namaste today, you know that step 10 is when we hold space. We have a 0 next to us, so we hold space, the 0, right, for what we want to come in, the bigger manifestation, the fruit on the tree. And I think that at this moment, at the crazy 8 moment, we make cuts because that 0 that we leave behind right now will be replaced by a new 0 in 2 steps, Sunday, right? So it is a cutting, and it is a replanting and potting and waiting for new fruit. Now, in a more practical sense of your realities, we are cutting away some deep, old emotional baggage that we have carried before we were born, all right? Certainly emotional baggage that we made worse in the 80s. And so whatever happened to you from 82 to 86, you are now having the option to reverse this. Because of the way consciousness is, and because conscious becomes subconscious, This is not something you want to put off, because what you build now is what's going to come next, and then the next offering, and the next offering. And this is about emotions and how we respond to our emotions. And this is about what our emotional boundaries are with ourselves. Like, I just can't let myself feel like a failure anymore. All right, that's an emotional boundary. I don't want to feel like a failure. Cut off that whole crazy, am I a failure? Am I not a failure? Am I a failure? Am I not a failure? Cut it off. I don't want to be. I'm not going to feel that way. I'm going to focus on the fact that I'm a success. This 0 right here. Next, right? And that's the type of cutting and clearing we are doing through the weekend. We're going to be cutting, clearing, cutting, clearing. It's going to feel like taking off a wet, nasty fur coat that you've been wearing since Atlantis. Seriously. All right, so think about that, my dear friend. Let's take this little break, and we come back. I'm going to take that concept of cutting the crazy eights one step further after this.
Are you tired of being codependent? Have you ever wondered why you're always cheating? Why do you have to always mother everyone you date?
I understand.
The biggest problem usually is people choose the wrong person. Are you ready to find out the truth? Yes. In just one video, you'll understand what you're looking for in love and what you offer. You send us your date of birth, we send you a custom video that's all about you. We call it Secrets of Birthdays, the Love and Lust Report. Find out your birthday secrets today, available online at secretsofbirthdays.com.
And here we are in the soulmart.me Love Shack, and Secrets of Birthdays Love and Lust Report. It's just $19.95. You pick a delivery date, and 24 hours later, I will ship you that. I make them the day that you ordered them. They are custom according to your date of birth, and they are great information. In fact, if you're having an issue with a honey and you order their date of birth, whether you give it to them or not, it is so accurate. It will help you navigate your love story. Come on down to secretsofbirthdays.com for more information. And be sure to watch your Megascope Monthly for October, the final date. I'm working on the November scopes this weekend, but I do have one final moment there where I talk about the decisions of the ghosts you're leaving behind. So definitely watch it and see. And if you have any help or questions, or have any questions about a reading, you can also email us at help@soulmart.me. We appreciate interacting with you. For a limited time, if you buy a 1-hour reading with me, you'll get a 30-minute free follow-up that you can use to the end of January 31st, 2015. This is an excellent way for some guidance on exactly what it is that you are cutting, not just in your immediate sun sign, but your rising sign and your deep karma of your natal chart. I can talk all about that. It's my specialty, and all readings are MP3 recorded, so you can go back and listen to them later. So now let's go on to Today's Gone. Howling at the moon. Well, in essence, we are all making a decision to cut away from feeling a certain way, cutting away from feeling this or feeling that or feeling trapped or feeling this. And in essence, we are the ones that could keep these things going in cycles and circles. But in my studies, I've seen that the power of the Sun in Scorpio, Saturn in Scorpio, is extremely deep. I have been running around with my head cut off like a chicken ever since the last time the Sun was in Saturn, was in Scorpio. And in my story, it was when my family was getting divorced. They were cutting, so they separated, and that separation affected us kids. It really did. So these decisions have major consequences on yourself and others, and I want to give you some advice through the weekend. We're going to make decisions that we're going to cut away from feeling a certain way on Friday night. So Halloween is the death of some old ghost. We're not going to let something haunt us anymore. Then on Saturday, or early Saturday, we take aggressive action. We want to move forward, and you should step forward. So you step forward on that. And then on Sunday, we're going to love and trust and hold space that everything's okay. So it really is a sliding into home base, so to speak. So my advice in Today's Gone is to avoid the old emotional waves. When you're trying to float out, when you're trying to come out of rough seas emotionally, like fight and flight and, extremely, abuse of, substance abuse and huge sobriety and just these huge waves that people go through. People go through abuse, and these are big waves. And when you are done with all these waves, the way to get out of that chaos is to avoid the old emotional waves. So when you see the old emotional fight coming in with your husband, or the old emotional conflict with your parents coming in, avoid that wave. Just get out of its way. Let it go by. Whew. Observe it. And what happens is, it may be quite an obstacle course. It may take a while. But you will navigate into a new lagoon. That lagoon will be only you and you. And that's the emotional foundation we're going to begin with when I come back on Monday for Monday's show, is beginning with that calm lagoon. What will we emotionally build out of this? And it's going to be a powerful change. So we're just getting started, my friend, and we're cutting away the old stuff. And as you navigate through the seas, as particularly people you're caught up on in crazy eights, they'll try to get you to go one more time around their circle. That's okay. Let them know. Next manifestation, next life. We always have more opportunity in creation. So before you dive into your creation, let's take a look at the modes of each of your brothers and sisters and some background healing that's going to go on. Some background healing from the moon crossing Neptune and Chiron over the weekend. So the moon's going to cross Neptune and Chiron. We're going to get some background healing. Here it is. The Scorpios, nesting and resting tonight and through the weekend. But you are releasing some inner child wounds through the weekend. That's some extra things you'll let go of. Some pain from your childhood. Step 1, the Leos, sunny and sentimental. This weekend you'll be releasing some intimacy issues that you've once had. Time to let that go now and just feel better. Step 2, the Cancers, sunny and private through the weekend. You'll be releasing old ignorances that you had or self-limiting beliefs and the shame around it. Forgive yourself for not knowing. It's okay. Step 3, the Sagittariuses, sunny, learning also through the weekend, but releasing emotional and childhood baggage. So some heavy childhood stuff, we're just going to let that go now. Step 4, the Aquariuses, sunny and cool with the moon in their sign, releasing self-esteem and financial woes this weekend. Step 5, the Gemini, sunny and chatty, releasing past career failures and shame around that. Okay? Step 6, the Librans, sunny, feeling super childlike, I think, but you are releasing health problems or emotions around health problems and work karma. So let that old emotional baggage go. Step 7's the Pisces, cloudy, feeling spiritual through the weekend, but then they perk up when the moon moves in their sign later. You're going to release ego attachments and failures around that sort of thing. So your attachments to trying to win something or succeed, and your failure consciousness and feeling bad, just let it go. Step 8, the Capricorns, sunny and manifesting today and through the weekend, but you'll be releasing old mind games and old attitudes. There's just no place for it in the new you. Step 9, the Aries, sunny and social today and through the weekend, but releasing old fears and some old karmic patterns. Now be careful, Aries, I just got to tell you, you're kind of set up to fall down the old trap this weekend. Don't do it, be careful. Avoid that emotional wave. Step 10's the Tauruses, sunny and professional this weekend, but releasing emotions around social failures, friendship failures, or old pride issues. Just letting some old stuff there go. Step 11's the Virgos, sunny and hyper aware of their reality, releasing, though, emotions around old relationship failures and emotions around pride about that, having pride over those failures. Just like, so it didn't work. And here we are on the Lightwalker Parade. What have we got here following the video and to help you through the weekend while I'm off the air? Things that will help you guide and learn and let you catch up on what we have. For one, Venus Prime Health, the healthy weight loss supplements is what our series has been. These are cute little webisodes that will teach you some quick little facts. And he talks about caffeine, that caffeine can help you lose weight. It really can. And I had an excellent episode with Master One Feather on the Circle of Wisdom this week, talking about fight or flight. We go deep on Saturn and Scorpio, fight or flight, and just how deep those emotional waves are. So you might want to watch that this weekend. And in Modern Mommy's fabulous episode as well, boys will be boys, that was the question, and also some deeper Ebola talk about some alternatives that the media, or the mass greedia, as I say, isn't telling you. So that's another thing to check out. And I'm releasing a new Astro 101 for the weekend for you to catch up and learn deeper on your own chart. This one is Astro 311, Chiron in transit. I talk about Chiron and how it rules Virgo and how to transit it in your chart. If you're watching us on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe. It helps us with our YouTube relationship. And on Facebook, you can be our friend by navigating to soulgarden.me. And if you join our soulmart.me email list, you'll get cool extra things, including an email each night reminding you to namaste your day. But the greatest thing you can do is always share us with your friends on Twitter, Facebook, etc. If you care, please share. We thank you ahead of time. So this brings us to our Sirius joy song of the day, and this one may seem obvious, but it's just so appropriate for the day. It is Michael Jackson's Thriller. I love this song. This song still makes me dance, sing, and the music video that was with this was incredible. You have to say, just off the charts, amazing Thriller. 1982, right when Saturn was about to enter Scorpio, actually, so we were quite naive and about to learn some harsh emotional boundaries. Mr. Jackson was a step 5 Virgo, if you're interested in that. So he took that I think consciousness to some incredible heights, did he not? May he reincarnate in peace, a master definitely of many vibrations. So folks, have a fantastic weekend. Decide, act, love, and trust. And I will see you on Monday with more. Happy Halloween. I love you, and live, love, be.
This is just so ironic.